What if I told you the bird watching you from the power line might remember your face longer than some people do? Not metaphorically, literally. In Seattle, researchers discovered that crows can identify specific humans years after a single negative encounter. Only that, they teach other crows who to hate. And then came the experiment that unsettled even neuroscientists, an 8-step puzzle designed to test planning, memory, patience, and abstract reasoning, a challenge so complex that it looked less like animal behavior and more like thought, because one by one, the crow solved every step, no instincts, no repetition, no accidental luck, just calculation. And the most disturbing part? The crow understood the puzzle faster than many humans expected. For centuries, humans treated birds as creatures of instinct. Tiny brains, simple impulses. Survival machines wrapped in feathers. But crows shattered that illusion. Scientists at the University of Washington discovered that crows can recognize faces, remember betrayal, communicate threats socially, and even pass grudges through generations. Meanwhile, researchers at the Max Planck Institute for Ornithology watched corvids solve sequential puzzles once thought impossible for birds, not by memorizing patterns, but by thinking ahead. Tonight, pairing crow intelligence directly against our own. Mirror, emotion, problem-solving, revenge, planning. By the end of this video, you may never look at the black shape outside your window the same way again. If you're fascinated by the darker mysteries of animal intelligence, subscribe and let's go deeper. Humans pride themselves on memory. We remember insults, faces, betrayal, but crows may do something even stranger. In one of the most famous animal psychology experiments ever conducted, researchers at the University of Washington wore frightening masks while briefly capturing and tagging wild crows. The event lasted minutes. But years later, the crows still remembered. Whenever the same mask appeared, crows erupted into alarm calls and aerial attacks. Some followed the person across campus rooftops. Others warned nearby flocks. Then the experiment became unsettling young crows. Birds not even born during the original capture also began attacking the mask. Think about what that means psychologically. The crows weren't just remembering danger. They were teaching hatred. Human children learn social threats from parents and communities. We inherit fears, loyalties, enemies. Crows appear to do the same thing. Researchers realized they weren't studying isolated intelligence anymore. They were observing culture. Humans are experts at facial recognition. Our brains dedicate entire regions to identifying faces. But crows, they somehow evolved a similar ability through an entirely different brain structure. Bird brains lack the layered neocortex humans rely on. For decades, scientists assumed that meant birds could never achieve higher cognition. They were wrong, very wrong. Modern neuroscience discovered that corvid brains contain densely packed neurons arranged in ways capable of astonishing computational power. Pound for pound, some crow brains rival primates in neuron density, and they use that power strategically. Crows don't just recognize humans visually, they attach emotional meaning to those memories. Helpful humans become tolerated. Dangerous humans become targets. In psychological terms, this resembles associative emotional encoding, the same process humans use to build trust and fear. The crow isn't merely seeing you, it's judging you. For most of human history, tool-making separated us from animals. Then a crow picked up a wire and changed the conversation forever. In a now legendary experiment, captive crow named Betty faced a simple problem. Food sat inside a vertical tube. Straight wire was provided nearby. Betty bent the wire into a hook, not randomly, intentionally. She created a new tool to solve a problem she had never encountered before. Pause for a moment and think about what that means. Innovation, improvisation, is mental simulation. Being the ability to imagine a solution before it exists physically. Human intelligence depends heavily on predictive cognition. Imagining future outcomes mentally before acting. Crows appear capable of a primitive version of the same process. Evolution arrived at intelligence twice, once in primates, and again in birds. B. Now comes the question scientists still debate carefully. Do crows actually feel emotions? Or do they merely imitate emotional behavior? Because what researchers observed in the wild looked disturbingly familiar. When a crow dies, nearby crows often gather silently around the body. They stop feeding, they vocalize differently. But some studies suggest these gatherings function as danger assessments. But others believe something deeper may be happening. A form of grief. Humans ritualize death socially because memory and emotion intertwine. And crows possess both. They form alliances, hold grudges, share warnings, protect family groups. Some even bring gifts to humans who feed them consistently, not because they're cute, because socially intelligent creatures build reciprocal relationships, trust, favor, depth. The same invisible psychological currency humans use every day. For decades, humans believed intelligence belonged to us alone. Language, planning, memory, emotion. But crows forced science to confront something uncomfortable. A completely different branch of evolution arrived at many of the same cognitive solutions. Not mammals, not primates, birds. The 8-step puzzle proved something extraordinary. But intelligence does not need to look human to be real. And maybe that's why crows unsettle us so deeply, because when we look into their eyes, we recognize something familiar, staring back. Calculation, awareness, judgment, a mind adapting to the same world we inhabit. So the next time a crow watches you from a rooftop, remember this. It may know your face, may remember your behavior. And somewhere inside that dark, feathered silhouette, a mind is making decisions about you. Crows are not just surviving in our world, they are studying it, perhaps studying us.